Oh, goodness.
So it is 3:30. I just want to say welcome to everyone. We're going to give it another minute before we start the meeting. We value your time. We want to give a couple people, a few more people, an opportunity to join. And so while we're waiting, just go ahead and put your name, your email, the agency you represent in the chat box. And I didn't think about that, but Bernadette and Karen and myself,
Yes.
we probably didn't need to do that because we do have a slide with our information.
Yes.
I didn't think about that. I thought about it earlier.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and start. Again, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. Let me give a special shout out to Miss Pamela Davis. She's been with us for 3 hours, almost 3 hours. It'll be 3 hours at 3:30. So, and anyone else, not only Pamela Davis,
Hmm.
I invited a special guest, Mr. Peter Tyler. He has also been with us through all three of these meetings. Kimberly, you know, you're my girl, but we have the obligation.
Yes.
So thank you all and welcome. Happy New Year. This is the first supportive service committee for 2021. We have some exciting news that I'll share in a few minutes. And this is the final week LRC subcommittee meeting for today. So we'll jump right into it. We have some great news. So you know that I've been sharing the last couple meetings. This is probably the third meeting, I believe. So the last meetings we've moved on to recruiting chair and vice chair. So you know that you have Miss Bernadette McAllister from Wake Tech Community College, who is our chair of the Supportive Services Subcommittee meeting. And now we have with us Miss Carolyn McDaniels, who is from Take Flight Services. I'm going to ask Miss Carolyn McDaniels to speak a little bit about herself, just share information, let us know what interests you about this role and what makes you a great fit. We want to say thank you for stepping up to the plate to serve as our vice chair.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And Miss Williamson just changed my name. My name is Karen.
Oh, what did I
Should I
say?
call Carolyn?
Carolyn.
Should I?
Oh my goodness. I'm
And I
sorry.
work for Take Flight Services, and we provide case management services. Um, we are I've been in the field for a number of years and also the medical field. I also do billing and coding, but I also do community service with Take Flight Services. And I am looking forward to meeting new people, starting new programs, and just being able to be a help in filling the gaps for the services that is needed in the communities.
Thank you very much, Miss Karen McDaniels. I've talked with Karen probably every day this week, and this is the first time I
Yes,
just decided to change your name. So please
yes,
forgive me.
it's
Please
all right.
forgive me.
It's
Yes,
all
this is
right.
Miss Karen McDaniels, our Supportive Services Subcommittee meeting vice chair. So that's about it for me in the first part of this meeting. So we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Miss Bernadette McAllister, and Kimberly's going to navigate our meeting slides from here as we talk through our action
Okay.
steps.
Happy New Year, everybody. Glad to be here. This is a new role for me. Me and my big mouth told Lenata that I would do this. So bear with me.
It's all
But at the
right.
last meeting, we discussed some priorities that we wanted to deal with, and that was health and wellness. That includes medical, behavior, and medication management.
Mhm.
So we need to look at that and see how we can, I don't want to say attack, but how we can build upon this to make it grow. Okay. I think that everybody get a medical provider list.
So everyone may thank you. Thank you, Kimberly. Yes.
Okay. So we have a medical provider list. We also have, we have to review the medication assistance service provider list. And what are our next steps going to be? Are we just gonna let it just sit here? We want to build upon it and see how we can bring more to the table with supportive services. I know that right now we're going through a hard time with this COVID and all, and so it's taking a toll on a lot of people. So we really have to think about those medical things. There's going to be a webinar soon about Black mental health during this time. And it's not just Black, but everybody is
Yeah.
suffering some kind of
Mhm.
way. So we need to get on that and see what our next steps are going to be. Love to have any kind of, um, excuse me, got choked, any kind of conversation, any kind of information, whatever you want. Just feel me or Karen or Lanata in, and we'll see what we can do to make this work. Who, if anybody wants to take the role of finding out what can be done with the behavioral. I think there's agencies that are starting back up, looking at how the help our behavioral health, and then mentoring and peer support. Who wants to take on that role? Don't everybody speak at one time, but you
So,
know,
Miss Bernadette, let's and Kimberly, let's go back to that list of
next steps.
yeah, the medical provider list that so the last meeting we talked about developing this list, and then the next
Mhm.
item was to review the list, bring the list back to the council, so that we can comb through it, make sure the information looks accurate, and then we determine how we will share it, who we will share it with. And so I wanted to go through, if it's okay, if we
Yeah,
could just
thank you.
go through and look at what we have here. And I'm so glad I see Eric Johnson, thank you for being on the call, because I actually was going to reach out to you, but it was so last minute. It was yesterday. I wanted to make sure that you would be here today because we had some specific questions regarding mental health services, and then the committee would want to look at, determine if we should separate, or restructure this list to pull out individuals that provide mental health resources. And so anyway, so if it's okay with you, Bernadette, can we look through
Oh, yes.
what we have here? And if I guess, Kimberly, if you can zoom and make it a little bigger, some folk might want to. I don't know if you can, so bear with us. Um, some of this stuff we're figuring out
Step by
as
step.
we go. Yeah, how to
Thank
use
you, because
technology.
I had this right here to talk about it, and it went past my brain.
Yep, no problem. And I know Kimberly did the bulk of this work, pulling this stuff together as we go through looking at advanced community health. I know we've had at least two pair of eyes looking at this list, and they're alphabetized right now. So each blue agency is a hyperlink. So instead of putting the website in there, we just, we right now we figure we'll share it electronically. But if the committee decides let's not share it electronically, we might need to put a web address. I'm not sure if that's something that we want to do. Let's see. I hear Eric. Is it okay for Eric to unmute himself
Sure.
and speak up, Eric?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me. I'm Eric Johnson with Alliance Health, and so I just put in the chat. I was looking at your medical service provider list, and I was aware of another one called Neighbor Health. Neighbor Health is actually, it is, I guess, kind of religion based, but they'll serve anybody. I put their website on there just for some research on there. But they do a lot of work in the community of getting people, and then also helping getting them connected to specialized services if they need it. So that's
Okay.
also a good resource.
Okay.
And
Great.
that's medical. So that,
Medical.
medical.
Medical. Okay.
And then did you have a question about the behavioral health?
Yes, and I know we had a situation this weekend. Carolee, I want you to chime in. We were just talking about some of the needs based on Carolee. Let me say Carolee, and I didn't do introductions. Um, I didn't do introductions. Are we okay with not doing introductions this time? Sometimes the meetings are larger and that will take up a large piece of the time. But I will just say Carolee is the case manager with Wake LRC. Actually, it's only Pamela. Let's see how many other people. Let's go ahead and quickly do introductions because you guys know me. You've met Bernadette and Karen. Let's go ahead and let and unmute and let everyone do their introductions. Eric, I think you're probably okay. Carolee, would you go next and we'll just go around? I'll call everyone out.
Okay, so I'm the case manager with Wake LRC.
Okay. And then I just messed up my screen so I can't see everybody else.
Johnson.
Okay. Eric just introduced himself. So Miss Pamela Davis.
Yes, I'm Pamela Davis. I'm from Volunteers of America, Chesapeake and Carolinas, and I'm a benefits specialist, and I cover 17 counties, and Wake happens to be one of them.
Great, thank you. And Pamela has been with us all day, so I just want to reiterate that. Okay, Eileen.
I'm with Pardon by Christ. I'm Eileen Lowe.
Okay, thank you very much. Miss Carolyn Vincent.
Hello, Carolyn Vincent with Wake Tech Community College, coordinator for education for the prisons here in Wake County.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, Krista Smith. How you doing, Krista?
Hey, I'm Krista Smith, and I am on staff at Summit Church, and I'm here just as we walk with guys through transition and sponsoring, and so it's good for me to keep my ear to the ground on what the LRC's got going on. Glad to be here.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, Cortez Jones.
Yes, Cortez Jones with Wake Tech. So do instruction with Wake Tech and also work in transitions as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I certainly apologize, you guys, for trying to zip through this. I just know we got a lot of work to do. Okay, I saw Mr. Derek Bird's name. My names are jumping. So Derek, would you unmute and introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, Derek Bird, Executive Director, Family Resource Center, South Atlanta.
Thank you, Derek, for being here. Okay, who else we got? I see Miss Embria Jones.
Yes, Embria Jones. I'm with Family Resource Center. I'm one of Mr. Derek Bird's intern.
Thank you for being here. All right. Okay, let's see. We have Eagle.
Michelle Nagel with
Nagel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that right.
No worries. I'll test you every time.
I'm gonna get it right next time.
So Michelle Nagel with Wake Tech Correction Education, educational services in the prisons and Wake County Detention Center.
Thank you for being here, Michelle.
Thank you.
Meredith.
Hey everyone, my name is Meredith Rawls, and I am an MSW intern with Interfaith Prison Ministry for Women.
Oh, we got to talk. We needed you on the last meeting. Okay, Michael McDonald.
Mike McDowell with the Growth Reentry Program. I'm the area manager.
McDowell. Oh my goodness, I'm 2 for 2. Karen, I messed up Mike's name too. Okay, let's see who we got. Did I mention Peter Tyler?
No.
Hey everybody, I'm Peter Tyler. I'm on the wrong screen. I'm the new community outreach coordinator for North Carolina Child Support.
Thank you. And I invited Peter to be here. He's visiting with all of our council meetings today. So thank you, and hopefully he will decide to stay around. All right, Shonda Rogers.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Shonda Rogers. I'm the financial well-being coach for Operation Hope, and we are located in Raleigh at the First Horizon Bank on Fossil Mills Road. We have credit and money management counseling as well as small business training, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, thank you. And William. Can we get William to unmute? Or maybe James Ward? Is that James Ward? I see.
It's Ward.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. It's James Ward.
Okay. I just want you to do an introduction.
Yes, ma'am. James Ward, Sigma Health Services.
Okay. And I'll repeat this throughout. If you will take a minute and go ahead and put your name, your emails, and the agencies you represent in the chat box. Did I miss anyone? If I did, please unmute yourself and introduce yourself so that we know you're on the call.
I'm Emily Yost. I'm a BSW intern with IPMW.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for being here, Emily. All right. So we're going to jump back over to looking at the list that Caverly had up. I think we were talking about in our last meeting. Hopefully you all had an opportunity to review the meeting summary, but we came up with a list of medical providers, and that's behavioral health services. And we talked about developing the list, and we also had some ideas on how that list will be disseminated. So we wanted to bring that list back to you all and just look at it as a group, add to it, see if any other changes need to be made, and then we'll, as Ms. Bernadette said, we'll look at what else, if anything else, needs to be done with that list. Does that sound right, Ms. Bernadette?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So Carol, if you don't mind, would you switch back to that list that you had posted? And maybe it may be easier for you to just type right in that Word document than to worry about that presentation, Caverly.
Yes, this is the one you want?
The one you and I worked on together.
Okay, that's what I have.
The medical. Mm-hmm.
That list?
Yes, but can you all see it large? Or maybe it's me. Is it large on your screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. All right.
Is it too big? Big enough?
Nope, it's fine. I just had to switch my view.
Sorry.
All right. So can I get anyone's feedback on advance? And I'm gonna step back. I'm sorry, Bernadette. And since
no,
I'm gonna step back outside of that role. So go ahead.
Okay, we got advance. And does anyone have any questions or concerns with that? Alliance Medical Ministries. That was Mr. Eric Johnson. Mr. Johnson, would you like to say anything about your organization?
Just to clarify, that's a separate organization. Alliance Medical Ministries is Raleigh-based clinic with Alliance Health, and we are a managed care organization that covers Wake, Johnston, Durham, and Cumberland counties, and we do behavioral health services, substance use disorders, and intellectual developmental disability services in all 4 of those counties.
Okay. Lighthouse Foundation of Wake County. Miriam Clinic. NC Fit. Open Door Clinic. Shepherd's Care Medical Clinic. Southlight. Urban Ministries. Wake Brook Crisis Center. Wake County Public Health. And there is a prescription assistance program also, Patient Help Network, for medical assistance, medication assistance. Does anyone know of any other medical providers that we need to bring on the table?
Bernadette, I want to just state prescription is spelled wrong. Also, for those listed on this sheet, can we also identify any of these facilities that provide COVID-19 testing?
That would be great. Both testing and maybe for if we'll be able to get any of the immunization shots.
Yeah, if they're distributing vaccinations, we want to know that.
Yes. Anybody else have any ideas? Okay. So what our next step's going to be? Putting the COVID-19 information in here and also vaccinations if we're able to get it. Okay.
Do we have any dental? Do we have any dental sites that we could also include?
Lenata?
So I just want to be clear. The committee, if you have information, we want you all to bring those. To go back to answer your question, Derek, yes, there are some dental service providers on that list. And if you want to look at it individually, just open up the calendar. The attachment is in your meeting invitation. You'll see some dental. Some of the providers do provide dental services.
Urban Ministries.
Yes, Urban Ministries. I know Wake County Human Services Public Health Center provides dental services for children. I think it was Advance. I'm sorry, Advance on Rock Quarry Road. I think they provide some. Does it say in there? Maybe not. I may be incorrect. Oh, yes, it does. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they provide some. We can separate it. Let me ask you this, Derek. Should we separate this out? And does anyone else know of any other providers, any other dental resource providers, or even just private practices that offer services for sliding on a sliding scale basis?
We might want to put that information out there to find out if any of the dental people will say, yes, we want to be a part.
So who will take that work on then, if that's what we're going to do?
Could we maybe have a volunteer who would be the keeper of the resource list? I know that was one of the things that came out of our housing subcommittee. And if you have someone who agrees to assume that responsibility, it just makes it easier for everyone in the subcommittee to feed that individual information in real time. Mm-hmm. So as we experience a different resource, we could email, I'm just throwing it out there, Derek Bird, because he's the keeper of the list. Now, he didn't say he was the keeper of the list. That was an example. Hey, Derek. But, whoever the keeper of the list is, it could be there. And the other helpful, Wake Network of Care and NC Care 360. All of that is going to help. This is just a short list that can be easily accessed by any of our partners who call and say, do you know? We could, so it's just a resource list that would certainly not replace Network of Care. We would always recommend that you search Network of Care because they're going to be providers that come up and disappear before we could update a list. So I think what this committee was saying is that you just wanted to have a tangible list that could easily be distributed if someone asked a question.
Exactly.
Thank you, Natalie. So I think the first question I heard you say, or to summarize, we need to identify a keeper of the list. So is there someone that's willing to volunteer to keep this list and maintain and update it if other committee members are willing to help to add or share information. So let me go back and also say that with having our roles and positions filled, the purpose of all of our committees is for the members of the committee to do the work, to help. I'm pulling back. That's why I said to Bernadette, I have to step back. This is your committee. This is what you own. You decide what we do. So we said earlier when our first subcommittee meeting, this is a working group. So we are asking for you to step up and help us out here. Of course, we are in the background doing the work as well, but we want you to tap into your resources. And if you need time to think about it, we understand that as well.
I could probably do the keeper of the resource list.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Eileen.
Do you want me to email or
so what we will do, Aileen, since Alyn has said that she will keep it, we'll send you the list. But what we're going to do is as our subcommittee members identify additional resources to add to the list, they will share that information with Bernadette and Karen and include me on the copy, and then I will forward you that information. So you'll get it clean and you'll just keep it maintained. You'll just keep it updated.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you, Aileen. So you're going to keep the list.
Is it on a Excel document or is it on a Word?
It's the Word document.
Word? Okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm. But we can definitely change that if we need to. We're thinking about how. So the other part of this, and I don't want to jump ahead. The other piece is how we will share it. I guess it will stay as it is. I think we talked last time about getting this information to barbershops. I don't want to step ahead, but so we'll need to discuss all those pieces as well. But first, I think we need to focus on building it out, seeing what else we want to do. We've already decided we want to identify the COVID testing site. So that's the next step. And that's another ask. Is there someone willing to look at what we have on this list and follow up to see what of these sites are who's if any of these sites are COVID testing sites, and if they're offering shots, and we can reorganize and structure that list, or actually we'll ask Eileen to reorganize and structure the list based on that information.
Okay, any questions so far? This is a good start. I think putting it all together is going to come out very well. I have one question. Bernard, how are we getting this information out?
So that's another question. That's another piece we talked about last month. We talked about sharing this information or getting it out to barbershops and some other places. Again, that's a next or another bullet up under priority area 1. We need to make sure we develop the information, get the information accurate, have the service providers Wake County service providers there, and then we'll look at how we'll share it. Definitely, it can be emailed, but we probably need to have some print copies too and decide who our target audiences are. So those are some, I think that's probably something we'll need to flesh out as well. Okay. But I wanted to go back, maybe Bernadette, you didn't hear me. So my question was, who would be willing to identify the COVID testing sites and the sites that are offering the vaccination shots on the list? Looking at the Word document that was there, is there someone on the call that would be willing to take that piece of the work on?
I will do that.
Thank you. Who just spoke up? Thank you very much.
Karen.
Oh.
Karen/Carolyn.
All right. Thank you, Karen, our vice chair.
And Karen, are you doing? You want to take on both of those, the COVID testing sites and then vaccinations? Or are you just stepping up for
Well,
one?
no, I'm doing both because I should
Okay.
find out about the same information on either. They're going to be either doing one or the other.
Okay, great. I just didn't want to give it all to you and that wasn't
Yeah.
what you're stepping up for. Okay.
And I'll work with you too, Karen.
Okay.
Okay. Any more next steps with priority? I think we've talked about medical behavior and medication management. And if you don't mind, Lenora, I want to look deeper into medication management because someone had asked me, about their medication. I was like, oh no, where can they get it from or what their use is. So I'm gonna look at that. So now we're going to go on to the mentoring and peer support, if that's okay. Go ahead.
So I was thinking we probably need to go back and flesh out all the pieces of the medical behavior and the medication management before we jump on to the next priority area.
Okay.
Because we talked about how there are some questions about how this information will be shared. But I did have another question about, do we have any other behavioral health service providers? And if you're on the call and you work in that area, again, I did call out Eric Johnson. Would you please share some additional information so we can build that piece out? Kimberly, I'm so sorry to have you go back and forth, but can you pull that list back up? And I'm asking everyone to please chime in. Maybe there's someone here maybe there's an organization that I didn't pull out that provides the behavioral health or substance abuse piece that's not acknowledged here on this form.
Yes. Eleanor.
Yes.
Sigma Health, James Ward, Sigma Health Services, I don't think it's on the list.
Thank you.
And we provide substance abuse, mental health treatment, and med management.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ward.
Welcome.
So there's, this is Eric Johnson. There are a lot of mental health and substance use providers in Wake County. Quite a few. It would take me a while to name them all. I don't know what would be the easiest way of doing it, and probably need to kind of think too. I mean, if you start thinking in just like individual, like outpatient therapy, there's hundreds, but my guess is that we'll probably want some bigger behavioral health agencies, is my guess. But there's still quite a big list of those.
No insurance is the biggest key, I think.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you have Sigma and Southlake on there right now, and then there's going to be a lot of other ones like Easter Seals, Fellowship Health Resources, Monarch, Carolina Outreach. Might be just, do you want me just to email somebody like a list of?
Would you do that, Eric? Would you?
Yeah, I could do that.
Just probably pull out some ones that you would recommend to work with reentry participants, particularly that have substance abuse and mental health. Thank you. And having no insurance is actually what this list is about, or sliding scale service providers that work on the sliding scale fee. Or no insurance. Yeah, that would be great. And that's not just Eric, anyone else could have that information. If you could send that to Bernadette, Karen, and myself on the last slide, you'll have our information. And what we'll do is we'll get that information to Eileen. I'll get that information to Eileen. So Eileen, you don't have a bunch of folk emailing you, but we'll get that information. So And if you know something in particular that we should add in that statement, on that list, please include that as well.
Okay, I could do that.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect. So that's behavior health. And I know Bernadette mentioned medication management. I guess maybe we should probably pull out, because it looks like we only have one provider if you look at that
Right.
list. However, there are two other medical service providers that actually, FIGS is not down there. However, Urban Ministries is on the list. So maybe we should pull that out. What do you guys think?
So just depending on it, there's medication management. Like if somebody's getting medication for like diabetes or whatever it is, their medical side, that's one thing. All of the behavioral health agencies that the list that I'll provide do medication management for behavioral health. So if they're on medication for bipolar disorder or depression, that comes from the same behavioral health agency, if that makes sense.
Okay, so and there's no fee associated if the person does not have insurance.
It
depends.
There's a certain benefit package that each of the agencies have. I will say that the benefit package for uninsured is not as robust as someone who has Medicaid. But each agency would have like their own kind of what would be qualified under that, because some medication does cost, there's cost to it, so they would try to use generics, but I can't speak for every agency
Okay.
on that.
Okay, so we can provide probably some brief bullets, not to get too technical, and just to get the person directed in the right, get them going in the right
Exactly.
direction. Okay, perfect.
Great information.
So we're going to add neighbor health to this list. We'll get that information. We're going to identify those providers, and I want to be clear, we're just going to identify the providers on this list that provide COVID testing as well as vaccinations. We're going to leave it at that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
What about, does anybody know anybody? I just heard recently that Fellowship Health Resources was doing, if you paid for the doctor visit or something, it was like you could get Suboxone for like $147 a month or something like that. Is anybody aware of working with Fellowship on some kind of pay scale for Suboxone instead of Southlight?
I hadn't heard of that. And it's Fellowship
Health Resources. I know that they do work a lot with our population, especially with the Medicaid individuals. And I was told by actually a client that she was getting some services, but she ends up is able, because of family help, to help her pay for the $147 a month. But right now, Southlight is just so overwhelmed, and its location is, so far out there for lots of people that don't live right there in that area. It's difficult to make it to their appointments and get your medicine on time, and especially if you got to work, and everybody's got to work. So like the lines are really long, and lots of people are falling through the cracks, and it's just because Southlight can't serve the entire community, and they're trying.
Yes, they are.
They're doing a great job. It's just there's so few people out there. So I just didn't know if anybody else had heard about Southlight providing that private pay kind of, or in any kind of Suboxone help at all.
I have not.
I know that Morse Clinic, Morse, they do some Suboxone. I can check on the Fellowship. That's pretty easy for me. I could just walk down the stairs since my wife is the director of the agency. Makes it a little easy. So I could check on that and see if they have any charge for Suboxone. I don't know.
Okay. That would be great. Very thankful. Thank you.
So let's let me ask this. Is there anything else we want to do to this list? That's the first question. the list. Yeah, outside of what we have here. Okay, so in our last meeting, we were talking about our target audience. Obviously, our target audience are the reentry, but where do we reach them? How do we disseminate this information? Are we just going to share it as it is, which I think is probably simpler than creating some fancy brochure? Any ideas or thoughts? We talked about giving this info, providing information to barbershops, but what are your thoughts on that?
I think right now it's going to be kind of hard to capture a lot of salons and barbershops because of the COVID. The only other thing I can think of is internet.
And reaching out to the local physicians' offices as well. I mean,
Exactly.
that's in the area.
So what are the other council members? What do you guys think? Feel free to unmute yourself and share your thoughts on how we can share this information and get it out. Of course, it'll be available to the council.
This is Cortez Wake Tech. Is there any type of social media presence, strong social media presence to get the information out?
So I can say Wake LRC does not have a social media page at this time, but I'm imagining maybe some of our partners on the call may have that, and you can speak up and see if you are able to make that decision, or even just follow up and see if this is something that you would be interested in sharing, or if not, as it is, how can we get this information in a format that you'd be interested in sharing it on your social media pages. Maybe it does need to be a brochure, and that just to clarify.
Yeah, for this is Krista Smith with Summit Church. I have a special Facebook page just for our prison and reentry ministry, and I'd be happy to share this there. And I think too, just sharing it, like you said, with the council members, especially those that are overseeing or involved with the men's and women's transition houses. It could even be printed out and posted on the bulletin board at the house or something. So I'd be happy to do that for those that I'm connected with.
Thank you, Krista.
Mm-hmm.
And Krista, for it to be on your social media page, is this format, or does it need to be Go ahead.
I think if you made it a Google Doc that was a public, how you can make those public, and so then I would just write a sentence or two and share the link, and so people could go and click on that and see the information.
Okay.
Just one idea.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I think that'll work perfectly.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to the person at Southeast Raleigh Connect for their Facebook page and put it on there.
Mm-hmm.
So we have other partners on the call. Is this something you'd be interested in sharing on your social media sites? Or do you have any other platforms that you would like, or, other platforms you would share it on, or how would you see yourself getting this information out to the community?
Because you can also reach churches,
Right.
community centers, YMCAs. They have community boards, grocery stores. They have community boards as well.
Mm-hmm.
At Pardon by Christ, we could probably put it on the boards of the houses, and we could probably I'm not sure I think we have a Facebook page too. We can probably put it on our Facebook page.
So do you all think that this would be something that we should share with probably all our transitional housing providers?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
One idea too, if you want to go this route, it may be worthwhile to connect with, oh shoot, I should have thought of her name before I started talking, but the volunteer coordinator over at Wake Correctional, I'm sure she's not going to share the names of the the volunteers and things. But if you shared this document with her with what the intent was, because I know we have several volunteers who, you know, walk with the men while they're inside, and then even once they get out, they're still involved with their life. And so if we could connect with those ministries or volunteers and let them know this is a resource and get them the link, that's another way, just that one-on-one kind of relationship. And I think going through the, gosh, I can't remember her name, but she is awesome over at Wake Correctional with volunteer coordinator.
Yeah, thank you. And I was wondering if Norm is on the call. I think he also goes into, I don't know his last name, but you guys may have remember hearing him speak last month during the council meeting. He was his first meeting he attended last week. But yeah, that's a great idea. So that's thinking ahead, thinking about pre-release, getting people connected before they come home. With resources. You know, another thing I was thinking about was there are other services around medical, and I know IPMW and Duke University are doing something with regards to transportation. Is that something that we should? This list doesn't have it. We're not saying that it's finished today. We obviously have some other pieces to add to it, but is that something we want to consider? Is transportation a barrier for our reentry folk with regards to getting to medical providers? And if so, do you think we should elaborate and include medical transportation assistance programs that are also free or reduced? I think
Raleigh.
Thank you. Go Wake Access. I'm supposed to speak about them shortly. Provides some services. So what are your thoughts on that? Is that something, or should we leave this list as it is?
I think it would be good to include, you know, we've had several people who were on dialysis and needed transportation several days throughout the week in order to receive their treatments, and we're able to connect them through the county resource. And so I think it might be a good idea to have that as a footnote to the list. Absolutely.
Yes, me too.
Okay, so we're going to include medical transportation services. Now, of course, the next question is going to be, who do you know? We need to go ahead and build that out while we're here.
Lenarda, do you remember the contact that we just connected our most recent person with, the gentleman who was on dialysis? It was through the county.
That's Go Wake Access.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And they presented about the survey and all that stuff that we'll remind folk up about shortly.
At the end, sure.
Mm-hmm. So that's Go Wake Access. Let's make sure is that. And then is it Duke Cares? I know we should have two folk from IPMW.
Yes.
Embria.
Duke Cares, we use they have I'm not 100% sure. Sorry, I am new to IPMW, but I know they have an allotted amount that they can help use towards transportation services for appointments and other medical needs.
Thank you.
Hey, Emily, is that women specific?
Yeah. For Duke Cares, I am not sure. I know obviously through IPMW it is, but I'm not sure overall.
Okay, so that's something we could look into, is give a call to them to see if they would assist our male participants as well.
I actually have a flyer in front of me. I'm not looking at it, but I remember having a having a conversation with Shayna Artis of IPMW, and the answer to that question is yes, it's for women, and we can include it on the flyer and just put that as a bullet.
Footnote.
Yeah, footnote. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is anyone else aware of, does Uber or some of the other just, generic transportation providers provide any services that you guys are aware of?
Probably will be a cost with Uber.
specifically for free. So James and Eric and anyone else that works in this arena. I mean, I'm sure Derek, you probably have some information as well. Do you know about any free transportation assistance services for individuals going to medical appointments, or discount? It could be free or discount.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Hey,
know
Leonardo.
that people who go through our access line at Alliance to get hooked up to a provider, our access line will ask if a person would need transportation to that appointment. But it would have to be for behavioral health appointments only. I do know that the way the state is going with the standard plans and tailored plans, that transportation should be included in that for appointments.
Okay.
But we're not quite there yet.
Okay.
I do also, one other resource that's, I had mentioned Monarch before as one of our behavioral health providers, but Monarch also does a behavioral health urgent care. It's actually located a couple blocks from the jail on Chapin Oak Road. They'll see people just getting out, and they can see them within a couple hours and have an appointment with a doc or a PA. It's kind of same day thing. So that's always an option. I can tell you that it's actually underutilized. So if you need somebody that runs out of meds, or needs an appointment quickly, that's a good resource.
How do you refer to them?
You can call ahead and talk to them. You could just show up.
Mm-hmm.
They do have certain hours, so I would double check. They also have some precautions due to COVID. But it is, like I said, it's a great resource. It is underutilized. And because we were trying to come up with some ideas for people getting out of jail. As you are probably all aware, the jail does not give prescriptions to people walking out the door. They do not give medication to people walking out the door. So a lot of times that someone's been in jail for several months, was on medication, on their release date, they have nothing. So what we were trying to do is get people to go directly from jail the day that they're getting out down to the behavioral health urgent care. We're running into some hiccups with that, but that could be a possibility for this group as well. And I'll include that information on when I email you with the behavioral health providers, and I'll put a little note on there about Monarch of that might be something we want to kind of stand out as far as what they offer.
Okay, great. That's excellent.
Yes, that would be great.
So I also, since I'm still talking, I guess, I did want to, my wife just gave me some information about Fellowship Health Resources and Suboxone. She said that they prescribe Suboxone, but they don't pay for a client's Suboxone. So I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure who brought that up, but somebody else must be paying for that prescription that they're getting at Fellowship Health Resources.
Okay, so they could go there and utilize. Is it free to get like a doctor to prescribe it to you?
The doctor at Fellowship can prescribe it. It's the payment is the issue. So I don't know.
But is the prescription to get the prescription, is that part free?
That's a medical appointment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see that. If they're with Fellowship and that they're a client of theirs, that they can definitely prescribe it. And like I said, Morse Clinic, MORSE would be another one that can do that.
Where is Morse located at?
They have multiple locations across the county.
We can look at.
I know that they're kind of all over the place. There's probably a handful of them.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make sure we look that up and get that on that sheet as well. Ms. Bernadette, I see we are down to 6 minutes of this meeting. So if it's okay, Can
We'll put the
we put a
next.
pin in this? I think we have our action steps outlined for us. Thank you,
Yes.
Eric, for taking on the follow up on some of these pieces. And thank you again, Eileen, for being for keeping and updating the list when I send that information to you. And we thank you for our vice chair, Karen McDaniels, for also following up on that, on the COVID testing and vaccination shots. Do we want to just, since we're short on time and we do have a couple other pieces, do we want to just kind of develop this, make sure, and what we'll do is we'll make sure that this information gets out in advance for you all to look over it and provide feedback, and maybe we can also use the Google option. We'll look into that. I'm not saying that we can, because I know Wake County has some rules with regard. Well, actually, this probably does not apply, but we'll just look at it and we'll ask that we not share it. We'll put draft or something on it, so that if there's feedback, make sure we spell prescription right. If there's any feedback or any additional pieces that we need to add to it, we can do that. And then at the next meeting, I'm going to suggest that we can just probably have looked at it on our own independently and can approve it or make sure, and we can go on and probably start if it's time to focus on the second priority area and look at, have a conversation about what we would like to do around that. Does that sound good with everyone on the call, and Bernadette and
Yes.
Karen?
Sounds good.
Yes.
Work
Yes.
with you all. Does anyone have opposition to that idea? Okay. So if that's okay, we'll just go ahead right on into announcements. And since I'm talking, like Eric said earlier, I'm going to keep on talking. So really quickly, Wake LRC, we're looking to continuously improve our processes. So we have a new opportunity for you all, our partners, as well as those we serve, but I'm speaking to you all now, to give your feedback on our customer service and just on what things we're doing right and what things that we can improve. So it's an anonymous survey. It's at the bottom of all of our emails. It's at the bottom of my email, my signature. So look there if you have something to share. Feel free, please let us know what we're doing right, as well as areas that we need to improve. In addition to that, and again, that information is at the bottom of my email, but that information is also on our website. We added a new page there as well. If you attended last month's council meeting, the large council meeting, you had a presentation from Wake, from Annette. I'm not going to remember her name, but from transportation service manager. So they're doing a survey. Go Wake Raleigh is doing a survey on northeastern Wake County micro transit survey. So they're looking at providing some services in the areas, including Roseville, Wendell, and Zebulon. So they need they need our input. That survey is online. I'm going to just say available until February 1st, because that's the safe area. I really believe it's like February 4th, but I'm not sure. So if you keep in mind February 4th, if you look at your agenda that's attached in your email invitation and select that hyperlink that I included in there, please do that. Give them your input. Let them know your ideas. We're talking about transportation. We're looking at housing. We're looking at all the different challenges and barriers that the reentry population faces, and here's a solution. Not only reentry participants, but even some of the other clients that you all work with. There are many of them in the eastern area. I say us because I happen to live in Zebulon as well.
Right.
But if we'll give your feedback, we really appreciate them to help them get the resources they need there. And I'm going to ask Natalie, could you speak to the Campbell University Reentry Circle pilot project?
Sure. It's an exciting project. Campbell has a restorative justice department, which is led by John Powell, and his crew of students have done reentry circles within the prison system here. And we are going to start a pilot project, and I say pilot because it's the first time they've done this circle with individuals who have already been released from prison.
And so it is a unique opportunity for them to come together and really do some deep diving into trauma that they may have experienced, as well as the impact of their decisions on their family, the community, and victims of their crimes. It also is an opportunity for their support system to come into the circle to learn more about the reentry barriers, to learn how best to be a support without being an enabler, to really, we would have guests who come into the circle, and those guests are typically, there will be some victims who come into the circle, and that process is really developed to help the men and women with empathy. So this group of victims has been working with the Restorative Justice Project, and they are ready to help individuals in the reentry community better understand so that they can make different decisions. It really is about helping our participants understand themselves, understand the impact of their environment and their circumstances and their decisions on where they are in life. And understanding it simply helps them create a better roadmap to not going back, but staying on the reentry path and really forging forward into a successful life free of crime, hopefully. But it is an opportunity for them to take a deeper look into what experiences they had that were outside of their control and how it may have impacted their decisions. We're hopeful that out of this project, we will be able to birth a parental circle, a reentry parent circle, to really look at healing the parental relationship and looking at some of the hurt that was caused to their children and how best to heal that relationship. This is pilot, and we say pilot, and because of that, we're using only the participants who are involved with a capital area reentry initiative. But based on what feedback we get at the end of this pilot project, which is 10 weeks, we will determine whether or not we can open it up to other individuals. And that's important because our population really is close-knit as far as how long they've been out of prison or jail. And so by opening it up, we give an opportunity to those who may have been on this reentry journey for a while to really dive deep into who they are and understand their path, you know. So we're excited about this. We will keep you posted. We are going to be assisting with transportation to and from. We will not be putting them on the bus line because it's in the late afternoon. We will also be feeding them. And if there's anyone from DOL on this line, we will not be feeding them with DOL dollars. Campbell University will be feeding them. We will assist with transportation so that we can make sure our participants get home safely. So if we have to pick them up from work, we'll pick them up from work and then we'll take them home. We just want to get them there and give them this unique opportunity to get to the next level of reentry.
Thank you very much. So this is announcements time, and I realize I am over 3 minutes, but I also want to give you all an opportunity to please share events that you have going on, or virtual events, so that we can support those events as well. So unmute yourself and speak up and share what's going on with you and what we need to support. So I don't hear anyone speaking up. Going once. Okay, well, we're going to move on, and Karen's going to give us our next steps.
Our next steps, a service provider for virtual expungement seminar is January 29th, 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. The Wake LCR Council meeting, February 25th, is at 1:00 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. The next subcommittee supportive services meeting is March 25th at 3:30 to 4:30 p.m.
Thank you very much. And just to reiterate, tomorrow we have virtual, as Karen said, the virtual service provider expungement seminar. Again, that is for you all. So just want to be a point of clarity. That particular expungement seminar is for service providers. It's for everyone on this call. It's for the entire council. Please feel free to share this information with other partner agencies. They don't have to be a part of the council at all. We want to get the information out there. Again, it's specifically for service providers. I will before 6 o'clock, because when I say 5, we got about 30 minutes and I want to head home in just in case there are any black eyes. But I will resubmit the email. I'll clean it up a little bit. We had some events earlier this week, just to share that link for tomorrow's service provider expungement seminar. In addition to that, there will be a meeting. So you'll get that today. I promise that will go out today. You will get another invitation tomorrow. So I have to do that one today. It will be after tomorrow's expungement seminar. Okay. That's for the criminal record expungement seminar. That's specifically geared towards our reentry citizens, our returning citizens. So tomorrow is for service providers. Beginning February 4th, that email has not gone out. Actually, it has. We're changing it. It was here on site at the NC Works Career Center, but we're changing it to virtual. It hasn't gone out. The change is happening yet. And the reason it hasn't is because we've had so many events this week and we didn't want to confuse anyway. So that invitation will go out tomorrow after our event. Just wanted to make sure that's a point of clarity. And we're also going to,
Lenarda,
yes.
I would just add that the reentry participant expungement workshops, those just the February 4th was changed to virtual.
Yeah.
At this point, only February 4th. We'll have to respond to COVID as things come up. But that was in response to COVID and center operations. So only that one for now has been changed to a virtual event.
Yes. And to that point, the reason that's very important is because we put that out before that it was on site. So only February 4th, that particular session. Now, also note, if you look at that agenda again, this event will be held monthly on the first Thursday of each month. So starting March, we're planning to go back to in-person again. We are flexible or responsive to COVID. So right now, we're still on board with having the March event, March through the end of the year, every month, those sessions being on site. And I'm sure we'll get to some point. If we have to change that one as well, we'll change that. But just wanted to be clear. We look forward to seeing you hopefully tomorrow at tomorrow's virtual event. And then, we also have our large council meeting next month. And I think next month we have some Wake County partners presenting, doing that, talking about some employment and some F&F services that they will provide. And I think that's Tony Zarcone and one of his, couple of his partners. Thank you very much. Again, Happy New Year. Thank you for hanging around. I apologize for holding you only 7 minutes over, actually 8 minutes. You all enjoy the rest of your week and drive safely if you're in the office.
Well, you do the same.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all.